Hi everyone. So welcome to week 2 of your theory. This week we're doing professional image and communicating for success, which is chapters 3 and 4. Um, we're just going to basically go through it same as last week with your homework at the end. And if you have any questions, of course, either you can send me a quick email, we can talk about it in class, whichever you prefer. So I thought this was kind of a really cool quote when it's talking about, your professional image. All I really do is go to work, try to be professional, be on time, and be prepared. I think that really also says a lot about when you work in this type of a business. You have to be professional, be on time, and be prepared. Otherwise, when you're working on a appointment basis, you can really mess up your whole day if you're not on time, ready to go, prepared for your clients when they show up, because we are so time sensitive with everything that we do. So our lesson objectives will be to name 4 good personal hygiene habits, explain the concept of dressing for success, practice ergonomically correct movement, postures, and principles. We'll be going over a lot of that during your practical work as well. Normally when I come around and I tell you, like, maybe to either raise the chair, tilt the head forward, all of these have to do with the ergonomics of how we work, basically to keep us from being injured as best as possible. So what is professional image? The actual definition is the image that one projects about themselves based upon the appearance and reputation. Image can be conveyed as professional by the way that you dress, the way that you speak, the way that you respond, and the way that others speak about you. The first impression is often the gateway to obtaining a job interview, new clients, and to build your professional image. Beauty professionals, we're often actually kind of held to a bit of a higher image standard because of we're considered sort of beauty experts. For this reason, it's vital to look and act your absolute best when you are at work dealing with clients. Professional behavior, positive attitude, team camaraderie, good communication skills, and proper ergonomics is a good recipe for success. Apply healthy habits in your daily routine. A lot of this stuff you'll find a little bit redundant. You probably already know all this, but sometimes it's good just to have a little bit of a reminder about some certain things. Obviously, personal hygiene. It is the daily maintenance of cleanliness by practicing good, healthy habits. Being well groomed, of course, you need to, it's important to smell fresh. We've all had either in the past been around someone who maybe does not practice the best personal hygiene. And I don't think there's anything that any of us could argue that, is more offensive than people that have a lot of body odor or, bad breath, that unclean sort of smell. Really turns people off regardless of, who you are. So it's really important that we especially take pride in all of our personal hygiene, because you have to remember we are literally inches away from our client, and most of the time with our arms sort of in a raised position where, your underarms are like right by their face. So it's really important that we make sure that we do all that. You can even bring like a hygiene pack to work, which we'll talk about. So image building basics. Personal grooming is described as the process of caring for parts of the body and maintaining an overall polished look. Dressing for success, professional image is the impression you project through your outward appearance and your conduct in the workplace. Basically the way that you dress, you act, all of those kind of convey your outward appearance. Hair and skin maintenance, keep an up-to-date hairstyle, keep your color fresh, wear flattering makeup, keep your nails manicured and clean. Because we are using our hands all the time with our clients, it's really important to make sure that you keep your fingernails neat, tidy, and clean. I know sometimes it's difficult dealing with hair color. Sometimes we get little stains, which is why it's imperative that we wear gloves as much as possible. Your professional behavior is a positive attitude. Don't engage in gossip. Always remain polite, considerate, and treat everyone respectfully. And your online behavior, believe it or not, this is something I never had to deal with when I was in my younger years because the internet wasn't even invented yet. That's how old I am. Anyways, social media posts, whether it be on your personal page or your professional page, um, if your personal your social media etiquette is neglected in regards to, you post pictures that are in any way sort of, political or racist or inappropriate in any respect, and any of um, your employer or your peers or anyone like that sees that, it may change the way that people look at you. So it's really important to make sure that you keep everything as professional as possible, even on your social media that are open to, anyone to see it. So looking at these two photos, if you were thinking of, walking into a salon and you're going to have your hair done by someone, which one looking at, um, from a professional image or a first impression, which one would you be more apt to go to for your for your services, right? Obviously, it's going to be the one in the top. So moving on to proper ergonomics to protect your body. So your physical presentation involves your posture and the way that you walk and the way that you move. Good posture conveys an image of confidence and can prevent fatigue. When you're on your feet all day, as we are as stylists, not having a proper posture or slouching or always kind of bending over to do things will eventually, if it doesn't right off the hop, will end up giving you a lot of injuries that you will feel for years to come. Your posture, sitting and standing improperly, can put a great deal of stress on your back, neck, shoulders, and legs. Your body movement, so your muscles and bones work together that allow you to do most of the stuff that we do. Ergonomics is the science of designing your workplace or the way that you work to make specific body movements more comfortable, meaning the way we hold our hands when we blow dry, the way we hold our hands when we cut, or the way we shampoo hair. All of those things, we are trying to create proper ergonomics so that we have less injuries when you're doing, 10, 11, 12-hour days, doing the same thing over and over again. You don't want to go home and have so much pain that you can't do anything the next day. Prevention is obviously the key. Awareness of your posture and movements, along with good work habits, will enhance your comfort. So, communicating for success. In order to have a thriving clientele, commitment to mastering the art of communication. To have a good relationship with your clients and your peers and your employers is so important. Being able to have the back and forth, being able to understand what people are talking about, what is being asked of you, what are you asking of them. It's really important to accelerate your professional growth and for a positive work environment as well. Customer service is the cornerstone of success in this industry. Would you agree? I would say yes. Um, the most the biggest thing that we do is provide our service to our customers. So customer service is our cornerstone. The most important thing that we do is take care of our clients. So your communication skills is the ability to understand people, and it is so important. If we don't have good communication skills, you will have issues with, not understanding what it is that the client wants, which can in turn into something that, could be a disaster in the means of their hairstyle, their hair color, things like that. So it's really important to be able to communicate and be a good listener. So some of the most important things are respond instead of react, take your temperature, believe in yourself, talk less, listen more, and be attentive. Take your temperature, we'll kind of go over that. So this I thought was kind of funny. You need to make better your method of talking. And it says, do you mean I need to improve my communication skills? Even the way that you convey the words that you want to say, sometimes they may come across as a little bit difficult to understand. So it's really important to make sure that the vocabulary that you use, the way you use it, and the way you actually speak the words is really important to communicate what it is that you're trying to say. So the importance of effective communication. It's the act of successfully sharing information between two people so that the information is understood. Meeting and greeting new clients. Your first encounter with a client is one of the most important. Be polite, generally friendly, and inviting. Make sure when they come in the door, when you first are introduced to them, make them feel welcome. Um, Make them feel like you're excited for them to be there, not that they're causing you a pain in the butt or anything like that. It's really important to make your clients feel comfortable and welcome in your salon environment. So the intake form, they call this many different things depending on where it is that you work, but it's basically a questionnaire that gives your clients information, their hair care needs, their lifestyles, any medications, known medical issues, skin or scalp disorders. So this is something that you will fill out based on your client consultation, which again, something very important to do with your communication skills. And then you will have a service record card, or I call it a client card. It's their permanent progress record of their services that they've had, results, formulations, products that they've purchased. Basically, it's everything that you've done with that client from your consultation process through to, any formulations, your haircut, any products you've sold them, so that with the date, so that you can always refer back and if need be, make changes depending on, how they communicate, how everything went with them. So conducting the client consultation. It's the communication with the client that determines the client's needs and how to achieve those desired results. The most important part of any service should be, and this should be a part of every visit, even if you've been doing the same client for 20 years, you still have to have that consultation, because things change and people's what they want changes. And even if they still like the same hairstyle or the same color, over time their hair changes, their face shape changes, all those things. So it's really important to make sure that you go back over your consultation with them, to make sure that you're still giving them exactly what it is that they want, and um, you're adjusting things to make sure that it's exactly the way that they want it. So when you're preparing for your consultation, have style books, different style options. I think it's really important to have a portfolio of your own work. So as you're growing as a stylist, I find it really important to take photos of the hairstyles, colors, cuts, everything that you have completed yourself, and create a little album or a portfolio of that, so that when your clients come in, you can actually show them your own work. I think it makes people more comfortable when they can see things that you have personally created than things just out of a regular magazine or things like that, so that they understand that they can see your personal work. Make sure you have a swatch book with colors if one of your options is for hair color. In the consultation area where it is that you do this, make sure it's a clean, bright, uncluttered area with a mirror, and as much natural light as possible, especially if you're going to be dealing with talking about hair color. Really important. So your 10-step consultation method. Perform a needs assessment, determine and rate your client's preferences, analyze the hair, review their lifestyle. Show and tell is called reflective listening. By listening to the client and repeat it back to them in your own words, what you think that they are telling you, so that you can make sure that you understand the words that they're using, and then they can understand the words that you're speaking back to them. That way you know that you actually both are on the same page. Make the recommendations as part of a needs assessment: lifestyle, hair type, face shape. You can make color recommendations, discuss upkeep and maintenance. A lot of people make their decisions on hair color, haircut, based on the amount of upkeep it takes. A lot of people don't want to have to come back to the salon every 4 to 6 to 8 weeks. They want to come every 3 months. So it's really important to understand what kind of maintenance they want to be able to do with it. If they're not looking for high maintenance, then you need to take that into consideration with your choice of cut and color. And then obviously review the intake form. If they have any issues, you want to make sure that you make note of all that before you begin any process. So some of the communication barriers that you may encounter, or probably will encounter if you have not already, is one of the things is managing tardiness, which is people being late. So it's really important that you know and abide by the salon's appointment policy. Advise your client of the late policy. Get to know your clients. You will learn the ones that will be forever late. That's just the way that they are. They run 20 minutes late for their whole life. And if you are running late, please make sure that you have your receptionist or manager know them, and they can relay that on to your clients so that they're not coming and sitting and waiting in your chair or in your waiting area for you if you're running behind. If you have scheduling mix-ups, and they do happen, things are written in the wrong date, the wrong time, still happens to me. I've booked people on the wrong date accidentally, and they show up and I'm like, what are you doing here? And or I call them and I'm like, why aren't you here? And they're like, my appointment's not till tomorrow. So things do happen, especially when we're working with technology. So when you're managing scheduling mix-up, the number one thing is always make sure that you're very polite about it. Don't argue about who's right and who's wrong. Check your appointment book to explain what happened. Try to reschedule. Remain detached, which means don't let it sort of take over your feelings on the inside where you feel very reactive about it. Move into more of a resolution rather than an argument, and book a new appointment to make sure you have contact information so that the appointment can be confirmed. You're going to, if not already, you're going to have to deal with these types of situations. So it's really important to make sure that you understand the best way to do it so that everybody ends up happy at the end, where we don't have clients who are so unhappy that they don't want to return, and you so unhappy that you never want to see them again. It's really important to make sure that we come to a good agreement on getting it fixed and getting everybody happy and moving on. So, resolving unhappy client problems, try to find out exactly why your client is unhappy. It's going to happen. You're going to have clients no matter what, that no matter what you do, they are not going to like it. That's just part of the game when you're dealing with people and their the way that they look. And you're dealing with something that is very important to most people in how they look, which is their hair. If it's possible to change what the client dislikes, try and do so immediately. If it's, their bangs are too long, the color's just not quite right, things like that. If you can change it immediately, it's best to do so. If the problem cannot be fixed, as in you've cut it too short and something like that, honestly and tactfully explain why. Try to offer other options to minimize their disappointment. So offer them, free blow dry, or next time they come in, their cuts for free, things like that. And don't argue with your client or force your opinion. You don't want to do that, because then you're basically telling them that they are wrong. And as we all know, the customer's always right, whether we like to believe that or not. And whether they are or not, we all know that that's also not true. But we never want the customer to feel that we don't feel that they're important. So when you're managing the differences, as a stylist, you have clients of various age groups and different generations. So use the basic rules of professionalism when working. When you're working with older clients, again, they're not up on technology, things like that. So you have to be very careful with the way that you talk to them and deal with them. It's not like having like a younger person in your chair. So, don't be chewing gum. Don't use any type of slang. Don't use yeah, use yes. Keep your topics professional and find out how they wish to be addressed. Some like Mr. or Mrs. rather than their first name. And be sensitive on how you discuss their aging. So one of the important things that I use in my vocabulary when dealing with my more mature clients is, first, I never use the word old. I never use the word aging, and I never use the word either gray, like gray hair. I always use either mature hair, um, things like that. I never use those words because some people really find that um, unacceptable when they don't want to be thought of as old or aging or things like that. So we try to not use that as a word. I never use gray hair. And with your peer groups, try and relate to their image needs, maintain a professional demeanor, and avoid using slang. So, guideline for in-salon communication. As a professional, you'll be building relationships with your clients, your peers, communicating with your colleagues, behave in a professional manner. Your colleagues can help assist you, teach you, and advise you. Communicating with your coworkers, treat everyone with respect. Remain objective. Be honest and sensitive. Remain neutral. Avoid gossip. Seek help from someone that you respect. Do not take things personally, and keep your private life private. Um, pretty simple stuff. We try to not engage in things that are going to cause a problem later down the road. So try and just be very mindful of those kinds of things when you're working in a salon environment. I know how it can be. I've worked in places where it was just a very uncomfortable situation, and I ended up leaving just for those reasons. Communicating during an employee evaluation. So when you're presented with um, your review, wherever it is that you're working, usually you're provided with some documents that have things on them regarding your work ethic, things like that. So make sure that you always look over the documents. So the criteria that usually in that document is for the purpose of helping you become a better stylist and ensure the salon's success. Do a self-evaluation. Look at it from the how do you think that you're doing in regards to how they think that you're doing. Before the meeting, write down any thoughts or questions that you might have. Um, Show them your self-evaluation about how you think you're doing. And thank the manager for their feedback, guidance, and time. Make your employee evaluation, make it a positive experience, make it a learning experience. Don't take it as um, don't look at it from a negative point of view as things that you're not doing well. Look at it as things that you can improve on and make yourself a better stylist. Always try and look and live in the positive side of things instead of on the negative. It's definitely a mindset, but once you start to look at things as, glass half full rather than half empty, you'll notice that your outlook towards everything, professional and personal, will definitely change. So I thought this was kind of cute. I worry that Facebook is killing meaningful communication. Like, um, I really do feel like, um, social media has totally changed the way that people have, like, I notice that even my kids, they struggle with having personal conversations with people because they're not used to having face-to-face contact. Everything is through a screen and everything is through typing. So when it comes to having a one-on-one conversation, I notice that a lot of younger people now that they really struggle with that. And in this business, it's so important to have um, to be able to have a good communication and be able to have conversations with your client and keep them engaged during their time with you. So if that's something that you feel that you need to work on, then maybe practice working with either peers or friends and having those conversations, doing consultations for practice. If you feel that that's something that you need to do to sort of improve your communication, your listening skills, your conversation skills, whatever that may be. But it's really important to make sure that you can have those types of conversations and get across the points that you want to get across and understand the points that are being given to you. So just make sure that if you feel that that's something that you need to work on, then find ways to practice it. You look at stuff online, whatever it may be. But it's really important to make sure that you are able to have those kind of communication skills to be successful. Some of the top 5 skills that employers look for. Number 1 is communication skills. So again, really important to make sure that you're able to communicate your ideas and your issues or whatever that may be, and being able to have that type of conversation and understanding. They want a strong work ethic, teamwork skills, analytical skills, and initiative. 4 of the common communication skills are thinking, nonverbal, speaking, and listening. Communication is the human connection. It's the key to personal and career success. And I believe that. I believe that to be able to be successful, you have to make those connections with people, and you never know who you're going to meet. You're never going to know who knows who. So it's really important to always keep an open mind and open communication with everybody, because you never know if they could take you to the next step in your career. You don't know who you're talking to or who it is that they know that could help you move forward. So in your theory workbook, please complete the following. In chapter 3, questions 1 to 36, do not do the activities. And in chapter 4, questions number 1 to 61, again, do not do the activities, and then we will take them up at the beginning of next class. Again, if you have any questions, you can send me an email. Otherwise, I will see you in class. Thanks. Bye.